Hey dudes, today I'm going to quickly go over a replay where I had 2.4k APM, and it was a 23-minute game. And there wasn't too many decent people in my lobby, but it was actually quite fun, so I guess it'll be a good one to watch. So what actually ended up happening was I take Balkans and I rush Middle East fairly quickly and early on, and by turn 10 I was like, I could either sit and stop and slow the game out and stall it out, but I decided I would go for the win, and I decided I'll go for a win in a different way than normally. So normally the play would be taking Balkans, Middle East, then wrapping back up into Balkans and going for Scandi in Russia, because that way you can then deal with Africa play in Germany and Poland. But I decided I'll go for Africa this time, and you'll see why it's actually a bit of a poorer strat than normally, because I'm going to be split over 2 to 3 fronts, and my army's going to be out of position for when the Scandi player comes down and hits me. Instead of all being in the same area, I'm going to be just completely out of position. So here, I actually take a really lucky early game. I had Bulgaria, and the dark green guy messed up his micro in Kosovo, so he ends up giving me Kosovo. So I've got my card on turn 1. So then I invest everything to kill him and secure Balkans, because there's 3 other players that spawned here. There's pink, teal, and blue up north. And yeah, ultimately it was just a pretty standard early game. I just take out Balkans. I'm gonna try and finish Romania off before the game finishes. And pink, the little snake, comes in and snipes my stuff, and only puts me at 13 income, the same as blue. So even with a really good start, I take out one player, but I'm fairly weak. So I just come and take pink out of the game. And now my focus is securing Belarus, securing Ukraine, and bum rushing Middle East, stopping the Middle East player from getting the corner and taking him out while I've got an income advantage. So this turn 2 is actually really bad for me, this turn 3 is really bad for me. It's only 19 income. But then by turn 4, I pick up a lot of speed by finishing a fair amount of countries at once. So the early game is really slow because I was so contested in the middle. But then the later on, as the game picks up, you can see the gap widens. I'm 13 income ahead of blue now. And now I'm going to be coming for light green. And it's a really good engage for me because I'm going to have income advantage, a tank advantage, and there's still 14 seconds before the turn starts. So I'm going to be getting value with my medics, getting value with my tank, and I'll just be thinning his army out when next turn strikes. I'm going to double tank it. And now, okay, this is the biggest issue with this strat is blue, the Northern Balkans player, actually had a really good expand. He was able to take Germany down to Italy, and fairly quickly as well. So blue's game plan is, he sees me, I'm wide open, I've got 0 troops on his front, and I'm fighting light green right now. So I desperately need this corner because it's a safer location. But then blue is going to be able to just cut my income in the north. So what I do is, I give up land. I'm waiting for blue to hit me. I just want to kill light green with all my income, spend everything I've got on light green. And then when blue hits me, I'm going to give up land to him. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to give him everything above Macedonia, Albania and Bulgaria. I'm going to give him Serbia, I'm going to give him Romania, give him Ukraine, give him Belarus, give him everything he needs. And hopefully that'll be enough. But if he ever steps below Mace, Albania and Bulgaria, that's when I'm going to defend with everything that I've got. And in the meantime, while I'm defending and stalling blue, I'm going to be rallying my army back up from the Middle East, and I'm going to be finishing the Middle East off with just a small handful of units, because I've basically demolished and annihilated light green. So you'll see that's exactly what blue does. Blue sees that I'm going to get big boy, I'm going to be 55 income, I'm going to finish off the Middle East, so he's going to hit me while I'm weak, he thinks. I'm just going to block it. No one really expects the Middle East player to block it so soon. But I'm going to block the south, and I'm going to give him the north, and he thinks he's won. But I'm going to bait him into Macedonia, and bait him into Albania, and if he overextends, that's when this army is going to catch him when he pushes down. And he makes a really poor play here. He moves his units into Macedonia, so I can snipe 3 tanks for free. And that gives me 5 bounty each, and that's an additional 15 gold. 15 minerals he's just given me there. So I can just continuously bash units out and hold him for longer. And I don't want to mess with green actually. If I mess with green, there's a chance I'll be overextended against green's army. So I actually take it, and I see I don't have enough to deal with him. I just back out and I'm like, yo, sorry green. take it back. So by doing that, I'm able to keep good relations with green, so he won't backstab me, or at least I hope he won't. Well, that's not exactly what happens, but hope he doesn't backstab me while I deal with blue. And here you see I push blue back all the way back up to Germany, and I even take these tanks, and I kill these tanks too as well by wrapping around. And my KD isn't too good. It's actually fairly poor. It's actually like not too high, but I've been fighting a lot, and I've got all my tanks alive. Every tank that I've built this game has actually survived. So I'm still sitting on a good 8 tanks compared to anyone else. I've got high marine count than yellow. I've got high marine, well actually low marine count than brown. But I've got 8 tanks on top, which none of them do. And the marines are going to be spawning consistently from my conscripts, and so that's going to be adding value to my army as the game, as I get bigger and bigger. So the whole point is, I take these engages, I lose my meat shield, but I keep my tanks alive, and I slowly build up a really strong death ball force, which I'm able to just crush armies with. You'll see that here. And look, if I just fast forward a little bit, I keep on fighting blue, and yellow does the weirdest play. Instead of, he sees me fighting blue and like crippling blue, yellow, instead of coming and fighting me, yellow decides he's going to drop grey. And by dropping grey, it means that I've got the go-ahead, the green light to continuously hit blue. I pieced red earlier on, so I'm like, if yellow's going to drop grey, I'm just going to push Germany. I'm just going to push blue. But the issue with that is, I then make myself vulnerable to brown. Brown is then able to have a front line to me, and then brown is able to hit me. So I'm like, okay, I want to time it. I'm actually on a really big timer here. I've got to finish blue, and I've got to kill brown before yellow is done with grey and he's able to team me with red. So that's exactly what I do. I end up slowing it. If I slow it down a little bit, I end up starting to get my units together. I see brown is in the south. I've got these units here to protect myself against brown. If brown ever pushes, I can just build in a couple of marauders, build in a couple of tanks, defend this position, and it's a nice little choke because he pushes through this area here. But I can defend this position for a very long time, and I can then cut all of Africa income off him. So yeah, I'm gonna take the fight against blue. Yellow just finished with grey, so yellow's gonna come around and hit me. So this is the timer that I'm talking about. Yellow is now only going to be able to hit me from Russia, which is such a long walk that I'm able to react to it and build a couple of tanks to deal with him. And so by doing that, Yellow has to wait for his full army to come from England and from Scandi to come drop me. And in the meantime, Brown doesn't back up, and so Brown just gives me a really favourable engage against him. And it ends up opening the game up. This was what sort of baited me a little bit, because I took out Brown's army and he went from the Middle East instead of defending Africa. It sort of baited me to go for Africa, and I'm then massively overextended because I'm fighting on 2 fronts. My army's split on 2 fronts, while also trying to defend my north against these big players that are coming down with their armies. So yeah, I've got 100 income. I'm the same amount of income as everyone else basically combined, almost. Still about 20-30 less than them. However, I've got a really solid position now, and I just need to make sure I don't lose my corner, because this is, as I said, this is my stronghold. Everything else, my Balkans, my north, this is all expendable income, but I can never give up my corner realistically, unless I'm going to be taking a different corner. So the only time I'd ever give up Middle East is if I'm going to be taking Africa instead. And in this position, I see Brown as a really bad player, so I'm like, Red's not hitting my Middle East, so I may as well just try and stall Brown in Middle East, keep the income I've got going, and then take Africa off him instead. And then I'll get 2 corners. So I'm in this weird position where I'm trying to fight yellow and green, who's hitting me now in Greece. Fight yellow, fight green, and stall Brown in Middle East so that I can get 2 corners. And I end up successfully stalling Brown for about 3 or 4 turns. And eventually what I do is I back up to Palestine and I defend him through this choke here, which is much more favourable for me. And so Brown isn't able to get any of my income, but then I end up pushing Morocco and I end up taking all of his income. And all the meanwhile, I'm just dealing with Yellow, who's just harassing me with Marines and Goliath, which is this is a really annoying comp to deal with. You can see these Goliaths shred me, and he gets really good KD off it, because I can only build Marines and spawn Marines to stop it. So if I want to engage in tanks, he's got Marauders there already, and this Goliath death ball is so hard, it's really deceptively strong. But again, that's a pretty decent position for me still. I've still got my corner intact. I'm taking over another corner. Pink's hitting me, I see Pink is going to hit me, so I need to consistently block Pink's attacks to like cut my income. Because if I don't cut, if he keeps on cutting my income, then I'm going to be losing losing a lot. So you see, he takes France before the end of the turn, so I'm down 5 income plus 7. I'm down 12 income. So I should be, you know, a decent 95 income right now. But with Pink harassing me, he actually takes quite a bit off me. So I've got to keep an eye on that while fighting on this many fronts. I've got to always be aware of where I'm getting cut, of how much is getting cut, and making sure that they don't cut it for more than one turn. Otherwise, I'm going to be slowly losing out over time. I'm not going to be able to replenish my troops, and my army value is going to be decreasing. And also, if Pink is able to get a foothold in any of those areas, it's another front that I'm going to be fighting on, and I'll have to split my army up even more. So yeah, Brown makes a bit of a weird push into Palestine because it's a really difficult push to hold. So then I just like quadruple tank him, and I just end up melting his entire meat shield. And here it is. I'm just gonna start targeting his tanks while defending my tanks. Lose one, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, I lose only one tank, and I take out everything. And now I've got 2 corners. And right now, I'd say the game is completely over at this moment in time. I get a bit complacent because I've killed off Brown, I've killed one Africa, and I'm like, okay, all I've got to do is deal with Yellow now. Yellow is the only person with 50 income. Red's going to drop me, Grey's going to hit me, that's no problem for me, I'll just defend them. But I end up, this game drags on for another 10 minutes, and you'll see why. It's because I get complacent, and I let them get in and do a lot of damage to me that they probably shouldn't be doing. Like, my units are sort of like out of position in a lot of ways, and this bit here really messes me up. I take a lot of, he targets my tanks down, and actually ends up killing a lot of my staff, which shouldn't have happened. It's really poor for me. I've got to focus on something like that. Because I was fighting on so many fronts, I just didn't even see it, and I was just so surprised. So yeah, again, not letting these smaller guys take land off you. Like, if they hit you, you just defend it as you like use your main army in the ball that it is, the death ball, and you just start reconsolidating your land and keep your troops fairly well microed and fairly healthy, and you can just slowly take over land, more income, more percentage of the land, and you choke everybody else out. So here again, it's a bit of a poor engagement for me. Yellow's going to try and come into Middle East from the north, which is really smart of him. But then I see Red building in Baltics, and when Red builds in Baltics, that just means that it's another person for me to fight, and I actually never want to fight this army front on. Unless I'm fighting here with my full army, or both these armies together, I'm actually going to be losing a lot of value against Red. So what you want to do is you want to let someone as bad as Red, for example, come in to Poland, come into Balkans, take everything he wants, and just avoid that army until you're able to finally clean up Yellow in Middle East, clean up Yellow in like Russia, clean up Blue, and once you're able to finish with these, like even Grey Jobs, and once you're able to finish with these smaller players and these other little skirmishes, you can then wrap around and with this false sense of security you've given Red that he's able to take your land, you then just crush him in one like fell swoop, and just like that you're able to secure the entire map, like, and kill the game off. So again, I see Red, he's going to come and hit me, he's not going to give me any warning, he's just going to go for it. And that's fair enough, people do that when they feel like the game's beyond repair. He says, sorry OJ, and he just hits me. Which is okay. Blue ends up leaving, which is great, that's one small player out. And it's just Brown to deal with, Pink to deal with, Grey to deal with, Yellow to deal with, and Red to deal with. So again, that Yellow army is really scary. This amount of Goliath is a really solid amount. They can melt my meat shield, and I don't have enough damage there to deal with him. So I'm going to be looking around the map, trying to consolidate my armies, finish off my land, keep my income healthy, and in the meantime, not die, like not lose all these small bits of income. I kill the Grey's drop, I kill Brown off in the corners, and what I didn't see was actually this little guy, this little green dude is still alive, poking his head at my island in the south. And I've got all these units lying around, but when you're fighting on so many fronts, it's actually quite hard to keep track of all your units. You've actually just got to be pretty aware. So I could have used these units and dealt with Turkey much sooner, which I don't do. But all in all, I'm able to deal with it now. And I actually end up messing up this game again, because Yellow gets another foothold in the game. I let him get a foothold because he drops this army, and then he's able to drop me in like Libya. He then does another really strong push in Middle East and in Northern Balkans, and I nearly very closely throw this game, which it's pretty surprising because I got to 68% after I killed Red. So I mean, Red ends up coming down, and he's been baited really hard because if Yellow's over here and I can deal with Yellow, but then I just rushed down and I killed all of Red's army, unless he runs to Middle East, but then I've got my Middle East army to deal with him. As you can see, like, and what I do is I drop England because that's basically all of Yellow's income is in England. So I want him to focus on a small bit of Ireland instead of focusing on trolling me, and that actually buys me a lot of space to deal with Red. I finished the corners. I'll speed up now. I finished the corners. I'm able to deal with Red now, and yeah, I just wait for this game to be over. I was sort of expecting the game to be won now, but I messed up pretty hard. I ended up, yeah, finish off Red completely. Finish off Baltics, and this Middle East army, this thing here runs down to my Middle East, and I stupidly did not rally this army down to Middle East. So he ends up getting into Middle East for free while I'm dealing with Red, and he drops me in Africa, which I didn't see as well, not for a little while. And he then drops me from England, and then Grey comes to drop me. So all my armies are in one area, but it's really poorly split. And yeah, he does this nice little push again. He does a nice little hold. He played really well, this Yellow guy. Actually, hats off to him. He played fairly well. He held on for a really long time with some smart plays. But you know what it is. It's nothing for your boy. It's pretty easy, actually. Pretty easy. No, I'm just joking. But again, I'm just going to be making sure I react to whatever they're throwing at me. I'm not going to be... Of course, I'm going to try and take what I can. But whenever they're going to go for a push to cut my income, I've got to be aware of it and deal with it. So here, this is really bad. So this type of thing, I build units, but there's Goliaths just shred everything. It's actually so cost efficient when they're in these small scale skirmishes. Because I need to have a decent army of tanks and marauders and meat shield to deal with this many Goliaths, which I just can't build out at this moment in time. It's all over here. And this is what's annoying. This army here was sent as an attack command down to Libya, but what they do is they ran down to Greece and they just end up like moving around there, so like they're just completely out of position. And he ends up getting a nice little army, killing all my spawns in the middle, and I'm just dealing. It's basically just a 1v1 me versus Yellow at this point because everyone else is dead. Yeah, so it's over. It is really over. I lose all this stuff again. These just Goliaths just shred, and they just do so much value against me. I didn't even see this. I lost so many tanks for free. So again, this isn't pushing in. I'm not really microing too well at the moment because I was sort of expecting it. At 68%, I was expecting it to be GG. But again, I'm taking Scandi. He's taking Africa. But I can, once I've dealt with Middle East, I can come back into this game by... Yeah, but once my army is like in the correct positions, I can then react to it again. I'm down to 64%, so I've actually gone down in percentage because of Yellow. As I said, he played very well. But I'm just like on so many different areas trying to fight around the map. So I'm trying to deal with Russia. I'm trying to take Russia as well. I'm trying to, as well as killing off Yellow, take Russia, take income, and keep my income advantage because that's how I'm going to just beat him. Having a lot of income over like, a much greater period of time, I'll eventually just take him out. It's a good engagement for Yellow again. I should have, yeah, split my army a lot sooner and pushed him from 2 to 3 sides, because right now these Goliaths are getting just eating me alive, absolutely eating me alive. And here, this army here is not enough to deal with these Goliaths. These Goliaths shred my Marines, and you'll see even though I've got a tank here, the DPS on the Goliaths are just far higher, and they just actually wreck smaller armies. So I bring my army down from the north, I'm able to deal with Africa and clean up Africa, I'm able to deal with Germany. If I lost Germany, this actually would have been a bit of a scary initial warfare. I end up like just clutching it up ultimate. And the game is over. The ending was very sloppy, because I got very complacent and just a bit lazy with my micro. But all in all, it was a really fun game and pretty well fought to the bitter end by all of them. And I take my hats off because they ended up making it go for a good 30 odd turns. And the game's won now. You can see the game's won. I had 4.5k wreck to loss ratio, and he had a better KD in the end. But still, he fought on. he only was using Marines and Goliaths, but it's nothing when I've got this many tanks. But it's just hard to keep an eye on when you're splitting your army up with tanks. You don't realise your army's actually weaker than someone who's splitting up with loads of Goliath, because the DPS is lower, and it's easier for your tanks to get sniped in smaller armies when there's less of a meat shield, and they can just run by your Marines and kill you. So tanks are only more efficient in armies the size around this when there's enough Marines and enough Marauders to deal with, like to tank for your tank. And he was forcing me to fight on so many fronts where he was able to pick off my tanks and get bounty to then reinforce his armies. So it ended up actually being a bit scary. But all in all, this game was 31 turns, and I actually had 2.5k APM, which was the highest game that I've had in a pub. And yeah, so it was a 2,482 APM game, and no one else really came close to it, but it was a pretty close. As you can see, the graphs were up and down. It was a bit of a weird one, but yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. And I'll be putting more of these vids out soon, of more pubs and just, I guess, some 1v1 games. But anyway, cheers for watching.